Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Biggie546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so we had day one of training camp today. And when I say day one, it was technically day two because day one, they kind of had their physicals, all of that stuff. You know, they said they did some logistics stuff. I guess they talked about their schedule for camp, all of that good stuff. But I didn't see about anybody failing a physical. So that looks good. I didn't see anything crazy pop up. So I'm going to just proceed as if nothing crazy happened. There are a couple of injured players that aren't practicing right now. Notably, Sterling Shepard is working his way back from something. Pretty sure he tore his Achilles, so he's going to take a little while to come back. Achilles injuries are serious. I hope he can get that same level of explosion back that he had before. But like I said, Achilles injuries are difficult to come back from. So we'll see how that goes. But he was kind of Daniel Jones's #1 receiver. Other than that, Azeez Ojulari 2 days ago tweaked his hamstring. I'm hoping that this is just a one and done. He's not going to re-aggravate it whenever he comes back and it doesn't become a lingering injury for the season. But the good news is a lot of the guys who were, kind of banged up coming into training camp, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay, the 15,000 other people that were wearing red jerseys in the spring. All of them came and they were ready. Daniel Bellinger, I think, aggravated something a couple of weeks ago, and he's ready to go. He was out there with the first team. Brian Dable said there's no restrictions on any of the players that aren't wearing red jerseys. It looked like pretty much everybody was full go. This guy, Kayvon Thibodeau, was out there. Of course, Daniel Jones was out there. He usually never is missing any kind of off-season stuff anyway. So, like I said, Thibodeau was out there. Neal was out there. We got to see one play where they were kind of going at it, where Evan Neal, I mean, these plays make no difference at all right now because there's no pads. But there was one play where Evan Neal was kind of grabbing Kayvon Thibodeau while Daniel Jones ran a touchdown in from the red zone. And that kind of leads me to talk about what I saw today on Twitter and throughout, this entire Giants community. I'm going to give credit as I see it from, where I saw it. Some of these are just, this page called Giants Videos. I think that's SNY Giants or something like that. But what I saw from pretty much everyone, including, Brian Dable's interview, the Giants were working on red zone today. And I think that's #1 priority because if you look at anything, that was clearly the Giants' biggest issue. I'm pretty sure we were last in the red zone, if not second to last with the Jets. But I'm pretty sure we were last in the red zone. We couldn't do anything once we got down there. A ton of times Daniel Jones got us to the red zone or to the edge of the red zone or, just outside the red zone, and we could not capitalize. It happened over and over and over again. We're at the 30-yard line, there's a 15-yard penalty. We're at the 20-yard line, there's a 10-yard penalty. It happened over and over again. Drop passes in the red zone, just all kinds of things. Daniel Jones been scared to pull the trigger in the red zone. And I'm just going to kind of blame that on coaching. And actually, Darnay Holmes caught an interception in this red zone against Daniel Jones. And I was just thinking, yeah, you don't want Daniel Jones throwing interceptions. But at the same time, this is just a lot better than Daniel Jones sitting there and just holding the ball forever, waiting for the play to not even, waiting for the entire play to develop before he makes a decision because he's being drilled into his head that he can't make a decision. Just going back to the McKinney interview where he said everybody in the field felt like they didn't want to be the one to make the mistake. So I'm glad that part is over. Daniel Jones make mistakes all throughout training camp. Make mistakes in the season as long as that, as long as you pair that with production. So they did a lot of red zone stuff. That's pretty much mostly what they did. Golladay had a nice snag in the back right of the end zone, but that was more of a walkthrough thing. It wasn't really like no one was really playing defense on him. Aaron Robinson was shadowing him, but he didn't try to contest it at all. Aaron Robinson got beat in that same right corner of that end zone right back corner of that end zone by Kadarius Toney. He kind of high pointed the ball, kind of turned as he caught it, basically mossed Aaron Robinson in the back of the end zone. And it was a highlight play. I'm pretty sure most of you have already seen that catch. But, off of that play, of course, people are saying that this is Kadarius Toney's breakout season because of that one play. But, I mean, there's credence to it because he showed some stuff last year. And if he's going to be high-pointing passes, it's like how, he did some of that last year. If he can do that and be the yak guy, I mean, he's basically Odell Beckham 2.0. And I'm not saying he'll be as dominant as Odell was, but Odell had that ability to be a yak monster. And on top of that, be able to high point catches and make ridiculous catches like nobody's business. So those are two things. Wanda Robinson also I think he beat Xavier McKinney in the back left corner of the end zone, sort of in like an up and out route, against Xavier McKinney. I think I couldn't see who was covering him before McKinney, but it was his own, and he kind of beat him to that left side of the end zone. So Wandel Robinson looks like he's got some juice to him. Everybody's rooting for him. He had a nice play right there. But on top of that, if you look at the Giants starting lineup, as far as the receivers goes, the offensive line was self-explanatory. You already know who's at each position. Left guard, that's the only kind of question mark. Lemieux was in there over Azudu. But as far as the wide receivers, and by the way, Bellinger was in there with the first team, which most of us predicted. I never thought that Ricky Seals-Jones would be out there. But as I was saying, getting to the receivers, your top three receivers were Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Wandel Robinson. No Darius Slayton because, of course, Darius Slayton isn't a slot. And they did not make that decision to move Darius Slayton to the outside, have Kenny Golladay on the other side, and having Kadarius Toney, in the slot. So that was interesting. I pretty much expected that, but I was kind of waiting to verify it. So it looks like Wandel Robinson will get the opportunities this year. He's not going to lose any reps out to guys like Darius Slayton or whoever they decide to keep at that fourth, fifth wide receiver spot. Now, I'm sure if Sterling Shepard was healthy, he will probably be in that spot. So that would probably make Wandel Robinson wide receiver 4 if everyone was healthy. But we'll see how Shep kind of works his way back from that injury. But that's how the depth chart looked. Azeez Ojulari was out. Jahad Ward came in there and played his spot. Thibodeau was out there. Dex, Leo, all your regular starters. Your starting cornerback was Aaron Robinson out beside Adoree Jackson. Darnay Holmes was in the slot. I'm hoping that Cordell Flott can eventually take that spot. That's like 3 things that rhyme with I and flat and spot. So that's so many rhymes right there. But I'm hoping he can step up and take that spot. But that's your depth chart. So I wrote down something else here. Joe Shane and Brian Dable pretty much talked about continuity with Daniel Jones. They said he still has to learn. The media just tries to just get anything out of these staff members, asking the craziest questions like, what does Daniel Jones have to show in training camp to show you that he's the guy? Doesn't make any sense. He's not going to be able to do anything in training camp that'll prove that he's the guy. But they just said, he has to continue with the continuity, getting familiar with everybody. He's still learning the offense. And as I think of the offense, something I forgot to mention a little bit earlier is Justin Pinnock mentioned this from Talking Giants. I'm pretty sure Jordan Renan mentioned this. I'm pretty sure someone else mentioned this, in the actual interview with Brian Dable. There is a ton of motion almost every single play. Guys are motioning out of the backfield. Guys are motioning across the formation. Guys are coming from, outside of the formation to back into the backfield. So that is something that Giants fans have been asking for literally 10 years. We have not had an offense where guys regularly moved around, regularly did that. It's just going to add that one new layer of kind of mystique about, what are the Giants doing? We have never been a team, or we haven't been a team recently that could just line up and beat you without any sort of deception. So it's fun to see that we're actually becoming a better team and we're adding in some deception. That just makes us a lot better. On top of that, I think I got to everything I kind of jotted down from what I've seen throughout the day. Pads on Monday. That's the date that I have circled. I don't know what they're going to do tomorrow or Friday, but I'm definitely going to be looking out for when they put those pads on and the offensive line is competing with that defensive line. I want to see Leo versus, Lemieux. I want to see Leo and Dex go against those interior offensive linemen. I want to see Azudu, how he fares one-on-one against some of these guys, how his feet look. I want to see Evan Neal. Of course, we all want to see Evan Neal. I want to see maybe Ojulari pops back quick. I'm thinking they're going to give him some time. But I want to see how Kayvon Thibodeau comes out there. Is he going to be out there destroying everybody? Beginning the camp, first day of pads. That's going to be interesting to see. I'm not sure of any kind of scrimmaging we're going to be doing this offseason. So I'm not sure if we'll do that. I haven't heard of that so far. So maybe we won't. But that would have been really fun to see. But as far as that goes, the pads are the next huge event. I'm sure we'll get some highlight plays out of training camp the next couple of days. But you guys let me know what you're most excited about seeing in these next coming days. That was my quick little recap from my perspective of training camp day one. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.